Yeah. Today, we are going to talk about correction of sentences. Why should we learn correction of sentences? Actually speaking, most of the language is improved while reading correction of sentences. It tells us where we are going wrong, how to rectify, and how to make a correct sentence. Why are we wrong in that particular sentence? What is the mistake that we are committing? Maybe it is a prepositional mistake, or a mistake of tense, or mistake of grammar. Sometimes, in the case of present, we may use past. There is one thing called conquered. Conquered means an agreement between subject and verb. Means if subject is singular, the verb has to be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb has to be plural. But it's not as easy as I said now. Anybody can do that. If it is singular, we'll obviously use singular verb. If it is plural subject, plural verb only we'll use. What happens is certain subjects, they look to be singular, in fact they are plural, and certain subjects look to be singular, in fact they are plural. That's where we go wrong. So that's how we get confused, and we try to use singular in the place of plural, or plural in the place of singular. That's where we are going wrong. That's one thing. Second thing is that most often we commit errors in the field of prepositions, because in English what happens is mostly every word takes its own preposition. So unless we learn a particular preposition that goes with a word, or along with the word we learn, then only we'll be able to use right preposition in the right place. You cannot simply generalize the preposition. For example, he congratulated me for my success, on my success, to my success. Generally, we say for my success. Our common sense says for my success. But grammar says congratulate is a verb which goes with the preposition on. He congratulated me on my success, on her achievement, on her performance. So you have to use on with congratulate. We say I'm suffering with fever, but it is not suffering with fever. Why do we use suffering with fever? Because most often when we attempt to speak a second language, we try to compare that second language to our first language. Probably in our Telugu, we say జ్వరముతో, జ్వరంతో బాధపడుతున్నాను. We don't say జ్వరము నుండి బాధపడుచున్నాను. That's why we try to translate that as I am suffering with fever. We don't say suffering from fever. But in fact, it is suffering from fever. So there are so many errors of that kind. It's not one field. Mostly tenses. What is the combination of tenses that we should use? Where to use simple past tense, where to use past perfect tense, where to use past continuous tense, where to use past perfect continuous tense, where to use simple present tense, and where to use present continuous tense, and where to use simple past tense, and where to use present perfect tense. Very often there is a confusion between simple past tense and present perfect tense. We try to use present perfect tense. In fact, we use present perfect tense by using past adverbs, like I have seen a movie yesterday or last night. A week ago she has called me. There is no need. You can say she has called me, or you can say she called me last night. Whenever you use past adverbs like yesterday, ago, previous, okay, last, like last night, last week, last month, the best thing to do is you go to simple past tense, because you are indicating the time and also the action which is completed sometime in the past. So that's why it is very essential for us to know what are the mistakes that we are committing, how to rectify them. So when you read correction of sentences, you come to know, though you don't know certain mistakes, it will tell us what kind of mistakes could be committed by learners, by speakers, how to rectify it. See that you don't commit that mistake. Thereby, you can take care of your English and you can see that you are error-free in your communication. So that's why it is very, very essential for us to learn correction of sentences. Today, I'm going to introduce certain commonly committed errors by learners. Like one of them happens to be, just now I told you, she is suffering with fever. When you say she is suffering with fever, it is in fact suffering from fever. And we are habituated to use it. Most of them in their leave letters in the schools, they write, sir, I'm suffering with fever, with a headache, with stomachache. Whereas you have to learn that it is from you should use with suffer. And then in the modal auxiliaries, what we do is we have two modal auxiliaries, can and could. So when you use can means be able to. Could means be able to. So can, either you can use can or you can say am able to. For example, I can do it or I'm able to do it. But most often we try to repeat. We say, we add, both. We say that I can be able to do it. Why should you use can and able together? When can means able means can, it becomes a repetition. You can say, I can do it, I can solve it, or I'm able to solve it. I'm able to explain this clearly. I'm able to understand. I'm able to solve. I'm able to work out. Why should you say I can and able? People say that I can, or they say I can't be able. Either they say I can be able or I can't be able. Either you can say I can or I'm able to. I can't, I'm not able to. Similarly, I could, I was able to. I could complete the work within the time, or I was able to complete the work within the time. I couldn't complete the work. I wasn't able to complete the work. See how beautiful it looks. If you say something like I could not able to go, what is that? I could not able to. Don't say I could not able to. I could not go or I was not able to go. Either you say I could not go or say I wasn't able to go. I could do it, I was able to do it. I can do it, I'm able to do it. I can't do it, I'm not able to do it. So don't be using two of them like can and able together, which is a common error. You can take care of this. And I would like to introduce some more repetitions here. Very often in modal auxiliaries, we see people using must and should together. You must and should do it. He thinks that, when you add both must and should, it is more and more emphasis. Nothing of that kind. Actually, in the series of must, ought to, should, must is the highest form, highly emphatic in tone. When you use must itself indicates a lot of emphasis. You can say you must do it. You must fulfill it. You must finish the work. That's it. Why should you say must and should? Don't use must and should for more emphasis and more stress, which is wrong. And don't say return back. People say, I returned back. What is that? I returned back. The moment you say I returned, itself you came back. I returned from my office. I returned from college. I returned from the institute. Why should you say I returned from college? I mean, returned back from college. You can say returned or came back. If you want to really use back, I came back from the office. But a beautiful word is return, return. Come back. Then why should you say return back? Don't say return back, repeat back. Can you please repeat again? Why repeat again? When you say repeat, it means say again, come again, tell again. Okay, don't use that twice. Similarly, maybe or may not be. Actually, maybe itself indicates 50% possibility and 50% not possibility, I can say. I may come also means I may not come. When you say I may come, there is a possibility for not coming as well. That's why you are saying I may come. Otherwise, you could have said I will come. When you say I will come, there is more probability. But you have chosen to say I may come because there is some doubt. There is only 50% possibility. Then why should you say I may come or I may not come? She may pass or she may not pass. She may pass, more possibility. She may not pass, more possibility for not passing. Why do you say both? So you are advised not to use such kind of repetitions. There are many of that kind. I can say it is not only one. Wherein people really, there is one more. Why? Because I did not come to college. Why? Because. Why means because means why. You can say why I didn't come to college today is, or I didn't come to college because I was not well. I didn't come to college. Why? Because. Why? Because is a repetition. Either you use why or use because. Both mean the same. You're not advised to use both why and because. Okay, so take care to see, I mean, avoid such kind of repetitions which looks very awkward, very funny. So you can really take care of such kind of things. He died from cancer, died of, like suffer from, die of. He died of heart attack. He died of cancer. He died of diarrhea. When you use, die, better to use of. So you can actually take care of that. And one more, the most commonly committed error is present perfect tense with past adverbs. Like, what is that? I have come yesterday. She has called me last night. A week ago, we have met. So when you say we have met, don't mention time. She has seen a movie, don't mention time. You can say she has seen a movie, that's it. When has she seen the movie? If you really are interested in knowing the time, you better say she saw a movie last night. Yesterday, I rang her up. I called her up. So don't use past adverbs of yesterday, day before yesterday, last night, last week, last month, okay, ago, a week ago, a month ago, some time ago, 1 hour ago, or anything with ago, last, yesterday, previous, such kind of words which indicate past tense should not be coupled with present perfect tense. That's very, very important. Then people say, I will abide with the rules. What is that? I will abide with. Abide takes by. Abide by. Abide by means to follow, to stick to. I shall follow the rules. I shall abide by the rules. Like according to, abide by. That's what I told you. Each and every word takes its own preposition. You can't really, play with that. According to your whims and fancies, you can't use. Then, I am accused for. I am accused for leaking the secret. I am accused of. Blamed for. You can't say I'm blamed of. I'm blamed for leaking the secret. I'm accused of leaking the secret. So the word accused takes off. Blame takes for. So, like that. And next, there are certain words like junior, senior, inferior, superior, prefer. I repeat these 5 words: junior, senior, inferior, superior, and prefer. These 5 words always take to, followed by to, not by than. We say, she is senior than me. She is senior to me. I am junior to her. You are not inferior than anybody. Wrong. You are not inferior to anybody. He is superior to her, not than her. So, I prefer coffee to tea, not I prefer coffee than tea. Generally, we say I prefer coffee than tea. I prefer fruit juice than a cold drink. I prefer a fruit juice to a cold drink. I prefer tea to coffee. So, junior, senior, inferior, superior, and prefer. They always take to, not than. Platinum is superior than gold. Wrong. Superior to gold. Similarly, coming to some more errors, you can just take. He did not feel tired, or I am tired with working. I am tired of. When you use the word tired, you should use tired of. Tired of. Similarly, let's take said and told. Let us see these 2 words. There are so many verbs which do not take to. For example, he told to me. He asked to me. He called to me. Wrong. He called me. He asked me. He told me. Told me, asked me, called me. You don't require to use preposition to after these verbs, but we say, she said to me. She asked to me. She asked to me is wrong. She asked me. She called me, not that she called to me. Whereas, when you use certain verbs like said, When you use said, you have to use to. She said to me. He said to her. So the verb said takes to, whereas tell does not take to. Similarly, ask, call, tell. These three verbs do not take to. You can avoid them. Okay. And one more important thing. Now let's come to, in the conditional clauses, we have learned imaginary conditional. In the imaginary conditional, we learned whenever we use wish, we should use either simple past or past perfect tense. So I wish I am past, wrong. I wish I'm past, wrong. I wish I were. I wish I were a millionaire. I wish I were a bird. I wish I were the chief minister. So when you use wish here, you better use simple past tense there, especially were. That could be used with all, I can say, with all subjects. Because here the verb were is used to refer to the imagination or imaginary condition, not as a past plural of was. It is used for what actually? It is used to indicate imaginariness. So I wish I were. I wish I have seen it. When you use in the conditional, we say, I wish I had seen it. I wish I saw it means, I'm sorry, I don't see it. I wish I had seen it. I'm sorry, I did not see it. I wish I were a millionaire. I wish, okay, I were not a politician. I wish I were not a politician. It means he ended up as a politician. He doesn't like to be a politician. I wish I were not a politician, but unfortunately I ended up as a politician. I wish I were a millionaire, but unfortunately I'm not a millionaire. I wish I had completed my syllabus already. I'm sorry to say that I did not complete my syllabus till now. So that's how you can use. Similarly, it's time. When you say it's time, you have to use past tense. It's time you studied. Means actually it's already late. You should have completed it by now. It's time you started. It means it's time you should have started by now. It's already late. It's time you started means it suggests that it's already late. You should have finished it by now. It's high time you completed the work. It's already late. You didn't complete the work. At least you should start now. It's high time they, I can say it's high time they mended the roads. It means they did not mend the road till now. At least they must do it now. That's how, you can actually use so many. There is one more important error that is called the conquered. Means sequence of tense. So whenever there are two parts in a long sentence, if first part is in the present tense, the following should also be in the present. If the first part is in the past tense, the following should also be in the past. Present, present, past, past. But people say, they use like this. He says that, or he said that he will come. He said that he will come. The moment you have used said, you have used past tense. So here you have to use past past modal auxiliary. Past modal auxiliary. What is the past modal auxiliary? Would is the past modal auxiliary of will, could, of can, might, of may. You can say he said that, or he said he would come, not will come. He said he would come. She said she could really complete the work. She said she could complete the work, or she said she could not complete the work. You don't say she said she cannot complete the work. Cannot complete the work, you are referring to present tense. The work is not yet over. She said she could not complete the work. Means already she talked about a completed action. So said being past tense, could, you should use past. Similarly, said being past here, would is the past tense. So suppose it is present tense. He says, fine. He says that he will complete the work. Fine. He says that he is coming. You can't say he says that he was coming. He said that he was coming. Said was coming. Says is coming. Present, present, past, past. This is called, sequence of tense. If the first part is in the present, the following should also be in the present. Similarly, past, past. That's how you have to take care. And there are some errors with the WH words, like what are you doing? What you are doing. Very often in our conversation we say, what you are doing? When you are coming, where you are going, where you are going, when you are coming, what you are doing are not in the interrogative form. Actual interrogative sentence structure is WH word, like what, where, when, why, who, how, which, followed by a helping verb, and followed by a subject, and followed by a main verb. What are you doing? When are you coming to Hyderabad? Why is she coming late to office regularly? Why is she coming? Not that why she is coming regularly late. Is it question or answer? Why is she coming late? Why you are waiting here? Why are you waiting here? So immediately after the WH word, use helping verb. Why are you waiting here? When are you coming to Hyderabad? What will you do next? Not that what you will do next. Sir, what you will teach next? What you will teach is a statement. It's not an interrogative form. What will you teach? When will you complete the work? Or when will the syllabus be completed? Not that when the syllabus will be completed is not an interrogative form. So take care to see how to use an interrogative sentence in the proper order. Otherwise, what happens is it looks funny. And don't use such kind of additions like na. You are coming na. What is it you are coming na? There's nothing like na. You're coming na. We are going na. You called me na. What is it you called me na? Did you call me right? Did you call me right? Are we going now? Can we really make it? Like that you should ask. We going now? Is wrong. That doesn't reflect like an interrogative form. So take care. And such kind of errors you need to really take care. And there are some more errors which are very commonly committed. For example, when you come to adjectives, in the adjectives we use the double adjectives, like especially In the degrees, we have positive, comparative, superlative. So when it is actually a adjective with one or two syllables, usually we add EREST. Small, smaller, smallest, big, bigger, biggest, clever, cleverer, cleverest, like that we use. If the adjective is more than two syllables or a big one, what we do is more and most. But what people do is they add both. For example, let us take the word clever. For clever, what they do is they add cleverer, and also they add more cleverer. She is more cleverer than her cousin. Why more cleverer? You have already used comparative form by adding er. So don't say cleverer is enough. Don't say more cleverer. Or for certain words, more beautiful, more intelligent, more hardworking, more industrious. Fine. So if the adjective has more than two syllables, add more and the most. And if it is relatively small, add EREST. Don't be using more taller. She's more taller than her friend. Don't say more taller. She's taller than her friend. This is smaller than that. This is bigger than that. Don't say more bigger. Even you shouldn't say more big. Even if you don't add ER also, don't say more big. Because you have a direct form bigger. So this is bigger than that. This is smaller than that. This is higher. So like that, you can use, and don't use two adjectives. I mean, two comparative forms, which looks to be really funny, like more taller, more cleverer. These are awkward expressions. So you can in fact take care of all these errors, and you can understand where are we going wrong, how to take care of it, and how to rectify these errors. Then only we'll be able to do it. And we'll look at some more errors after some time. Yeah, in continuation to the errors that we were discussing, especially if you see conditional clauses. See, almost every topic like tenses, conditional clauses, degrees of comparison, direct indirect speech, or WH questions, modal auxiliaries, like any you take, even active voice, passive voice, there is more and more possibility for errors to occur in that area. So if we can really know what could be the errors possible in that particular area, we can really avoid such errors. Especially, let's come to if clauses and see. In the if clauses, what does the rule say? If you have four types of conditional clauses: zero conditional, open conditional, unreal conditional, and unfulfilled conditional. So there are some stipulated rules. Like if you have simple present tense in the zero conditional, in the main clause also zero conditional. In the zero conditional, main clause also simple present tense. So if clause simple present tense, main clause simple present tense. So similarly, open conditional, if clause simple present tense, main clause simple future tense. Similarly, unreal conditional, if clause simple past tense, and main clause past modal auxiliaries like would, could, might, and so on. And similarly, unfulfilled conditional, in the if clause past perfect tense, here would plus have plus V3, that is modal auxiliary plus perfect tense. So these are rules. So sometimes, for example, you have a sentence like this: if you knew the date of death, what will you do? If you knew, you have used a simple past tense here. if you knew the date of your death, what would you do? Not will you do, because this is simple past tense. Here you have to use past tense, or you can change the first one to simple present tense. If you know, from simple past to, you can change it to present. If you know the date of your death, what will you do? Or if you knew the date of your death, what would you do? Similarly, if you throw anything up, it will fall down. If you throw anything up is a scientific, form, scientific phenomenon, I can say. Whenever you throw something up, the result, what happens? It falls down. So as a zero conditional, you will have to use simple present tense in either clauses, if clause and also main clause, because it refers to scientific, fact. Similarly, if you had passed, I could host the party. If you had passed, this is past perfect tense. If you had passed the exam, I could have hosted the party. Because past perfect tense you have used here, then could plus have plus V3. I could have hosted the party. If you had asked me, I could have helped you. So that is where the people go wrong. And one more thing, for example, the examples in this book are better than that book. The examples in this book are better than the examples of that book. Actually, you are comparing here to the examples of this book and to the examples of that book. Lata's songs are more melodious than Usha. Wrong. Lata's songs are more melodious than the songs of Usha. If you say than Usha, you are taking Usha for comparison, not the songs of Usha. So the songs of Usha are more melodious than the songs of Usha. But instead of repeating the word songs 2 times in a sentence, what we do is the songs of Usha are more melodious than those of. Those of means what? Than the songs of. Than those of. The songs of Usha are more melodious than those of, some other. For example, Lata and Usha, we have seen. Similarly, here I told you the examples in this book are better than those of. Means than those books of. Than those examples. The climate of India is better than Africa. The climate of India is better than that of. That of means what? Than the climate of Africa. So instead of using that word, again, climate, examples, duties, or songs, you can say those of, if it is plural, if it is singular, that of. That's how you can use. So this is one thing. And our teacher took our test. He didn't take. See, usually you take the test and teacher gives the test. So you should say, our teacher gave us a test. I took, not that I gave. People say, I gave an exam. What is it I gave? I took, or I sat. I sat for an exam. Sit for an exam or take an exam. Whereas a teacher or an examiner gives the exam to the students. That's one thing. He asked from me that I had gone there or not. He asked me whether I had gone there or not. See, this is reported speech, indirect speech. He asked me whether, actually in the direct speech it should be like this. He said to me, have you gone there or not? He said to me, comma quotations, have you gone there or not? He asked me whether I had gone there or not. So that's how. And now, who hanged this picture? Actually, the verb hang has got two past participles. Hang, hanged, hanged. Hang, hung, hung. When you say hang, hanged, hanged, it is when somebody commits suicide. Okay, when somebody dies by hanging, we say he hanged himself to death. She hanged herself to death. In the sense of suspending something in the air, you can say hung. Who hung this picture? I hung my shirt here. Who hung this picture here? Hung, not hanged. Veladadiyadam, tagiliyadam, hang, hung, hung. Urivedam, uriveskoodam. Hang, hanged, hanged. So you should use very carefully. There are 6 females among the winners. 6 females. Male and female should be used when you refer to gender. Only when you refer to gender, you should use male and female, but not in a general sense. In the general sense, you should say men and women or ladies and gentlemen. How many women? How many ladies? There are 6 ladies among the winners. 6 women, 6 girls, not female. Male and female should not be used without referring to the gender. Why you are so late? I told you just now. Why you are so late? Wrong. Why are you so late? Actually, the proper order is, why are you so late? That's the proper order. When you will come to my house? When will you come to my house? Similarly, broadcast, telecast, forecast, okay, and COST cast, CAST cast, and all these words have their V2, V3 same. Telecast, telecast, telecast. Broadcast, broadcast, broadcast. Forecast, forecast, forecast. COST cast, cast, cast. CAST cast, cast, cast. V2, V3 are same. So the news was broadcasted, wrong. The news was broadcast. The news was telecast. That's it. Because it's V2, the V3 form is also the same. I saw a dead horse. I saw a dead horse walking across the field. Who is walking across the field here? Is it the dead horse or is it you? The given sentence means that I saw a dead horse walking. It means you are trying to say dead horse is walking across the field. How can a dead horse walk? So I saw a dead horse while I was crossing the fields. Otherwise, the meaning is confusing. I saw a dead horse while I was crossing the fields, or while I was crossing the fields, I saw a dead horse. I made him to do the work. Generally, when you use make and let, to is not necessary. I made him go. I made him do the work. I made him realize his mistake. Even help also. I helped him understand the problem. Not I helped him to understand the problem. Wrong. I helped him understand the problem. I made him realize his mistake. I let him go. So after make, let, okay, you should not use to, even help, these three words. He got passing marks. He got pass marks. What is that passing marks? He got pass marks. According to my opinion. Whenever you say your opinion, don't say according to my opinion. For others, you can use according to his opinion, according to the scientists, according to the doctors, you can say. But coming to you, don't say according to me, according to my opinion. Instead, you can say in my opinion, or in my view, or as far as my opinion is concerned. As far as my opinion is concerned, or as for my opinion, in my view, in my opinion, but don't say according to me. My leg is paining. I have pain in the leg. Don't say my leg is paining. I have pain in the leg. So, like this, there are so many of that kind. For example, some people try to use hardly and never. Hardly means, for example, there is a word called hard. Hard is both adjective and also adverb by itself. He works hard. But what we think is we have a tendency, only when we add ly, then it acts as adverb. That's why we say he works hardly. When you say he works hardly, it means he doesn't work at all. Because the word hardly means nothing, nil. So I hardly never go there. Hardly means never, never means hardly. I hardly go there, or I never go there. Use any one, don't use two. Minus into minus plus. I hardly never go means I always go there. Nobody doesn't know. What is that? Nobody doesn't know. When you said nobody, already you have used negative. Nobody does not know means everybody knows. You have to say nobody knows. No one knows. No one knows means no one knows. What is that? No one doesn't know. No one doesn't know means everyone knows. You are actually trying to use negative, but you are using positive because you are using two negatives. Keep this in mind. So such kind of errors mislead your usage. So, I ordered to him. Actually, I told you certain verbs like ask, call, okay, tell, even order. I ordered to him. Wrong. I ordered him. I ordered him to leave the room. I ordered her to sweep the room. Okay. So like this, you can really, for example, since and for. People use since for for since. Since refers to point of time and for refers to period of time. Period of time means the duration. Right from the starting of the action till now, how much time has passed. Put together, if you say, for 2 hours, for 2 days, for 10 years, that is duration you are saying. If you talk about the exact starting time of the action, since. She has been working since 2015. She has been working for 5 years. So you can use like that, when to use since and when to use for. So that's how you can really take care of. You can really collect some more errors. You can actually take out mistakes from some sources, from grammar books. You can really keep a live discussion on that, and then we can understand what is wrong in that and how to rectify and how to avoid such kind of mistakes in our communication. We can really take care to see all that. So that's a good idea of improving one's English in a wonderful way. So that's all for now.